Everything must change.
Ends. Some people will rob their mother. Old ends. Rats snitch on one another. Old ends. Sometimes kids get murdered. Old ends. So before we go any further, I want my ends. I knew this cat named Bill, he didn't have a dollar. He was Harvard material, Ivy League scholar. Had a PhD, had an MBA. But now he's waiting tables cause his rent to pay. Companies downsizing, inflation's rising. Can't find a job, he's feeling kinda stressed. Doesn't even feel the effects when he says, forgot to count how many times they've been blessed. So he falls off track, starts smoking the crack. And once it hits his brain, starts to chain react. Tells the shirt off his back, shoes off his feet. He's losing all his teeth, now he's out in the street. And all of a sudden it's like Jesse James trying to stick up his for their watches and chains. But he's from business school and is nervous with the tools. So he ends up on his back in a bloody pool for the ends. Some people will rob their mother for the ends. Rats snitch on one another for ends. And sometimes kids get murdered for ends. So before we go any further, I want my ends. I knew this chick named Sally. She had a nice strut, and everywhere that I went, she was up in the cut, swinging that butt like Glacier ahead. Only rapid men's that rock the fly gear. Brand name wearing, champagne waving, jewels around the neck, lifestyle she's craving. Ain't no saving, she's doing all spending. If you do the lending, she'll do the bending. Straight machine bending, it's money for Ted. Shopping sprees, get her on her knees. And if you hit her with the keys to your crib, you acting funny. Come home one day, find her counting out your money. From the wetlands all the way to the Apollo. If you're broke, she's spitting. If you're rich, she might swallow for the ends. Some people will rob their mother for the ends. Rats snitch on one another for the ends. Sometimes kids get murdered for the ends. So before we go any further, I want my ends. Made a lot of noise, making money on the block. Kids was on their job. They was tougher than leather, like Reverend Run. DMC, they was toting guns, holding weight, going out of state, stacking mad chips and pushing fat whips. Fly jewels and clothes and got no job. And then one disappeared and one got robbed for the ends. Some people will rob their mother for the ends. Rats snitch on one another for the ends. Sometimes kids get murdered for the ends. So before we go any further, I want my ends. Ends. Some people will rob their mother for the ends. Rats snitch on one